neck. Here we're looking through the lateral intercostal view, so we get a nice long axis view of the gallbladder. We can see here a gallstone that's located within the neck of the gallbladder. Notice that it has the classic bright or hyperechoic appearance, and we see the hard shadow, the blackout of sound waves posterior to the gallstone. Interestingly enough, as we rolled the patient around and inspected the gallstone failed to move, showing that it was impacted and the cause of the patient's biliary colic. Here's a video clip showing an impacted stone at the gallbladder neck, again taken from that lateral intercostal view that gives us those great long axis views of the gallbladder. We see the liver to the top of the image and the gallbladder inferior to the liver. Towards the neck of the gallbladder, we see a white, hyperechoic gallstone, and we see the classic posterior acoustic shadowing. As we mentioned in Module 1, it's always important to look at the gallbladder in two orientations. Here we've moved the patient into the left lateral decubitus position and we're looking from the subcostal plane. Again, we see the gallbladder stretched out inferior to the liver, and within the neck of the gallbladder we see the hyperechoic bright gallstone, and notice also the posterior acoustic shadow. As we press down on this gallbladder, the patient had a lot of pain, confirming a sonographic Murphy's sign. Here we're going to change the orientation of the probe into a short axis configuration. The probe is located in the subcostal plane with a marker over towards the patient's right. Thereby we're cutting the gallbladder into cross sections so the gallbladder will appear as a circle on the ultrasound screen. We see here a gallstone, that hyperechoic area within the gallbladder lumen, and again the posterior acoustic shadowing confirming the presence of a gallstone. Here's a video clip taken from an elderly patient with acute right upper quadrant pain. We're scanning back and forth through the gallbladder. This view is taken from that lateral intercostal view. And we see here the presence of multiple shadowing gallstones within the lumen of the gallbladder. So the end result of cholesterol deposition within the gallbladder forming multiple stones within the gallbladder lumen. And we can see here as we scan back and forth the multiple hyperechoic foci with a posterior acoustic shadow. Here's an interesting video clip from another patient with acute right upper quadrant pain, and we see a distended gallbladder stretching across the screen here, the fundus located towards the right, and the neck over towards the left. Within the lumen of the gallbladder, we see multiple gallstones layering across the back wall of the gallbladder, and notice that they have almost like a small pea-like type appearance. And we can see also the posterior acoustic shadowing as we scan back and forth through the gallstones. So, multiple gallstones within a distended gallbladder. A sonographic finding that can be seen with a gallbladder that's completely filled with stones and in a contracted state is the wall echo sign. And here we see an example of the wall echo sign, long axis to the left and short axis view to the right. What we see here is the gallbladder filled with stones, and all we see is the anterior wall of the gallbladder, the echo from the concretion of stones, and the shadow off the back of the stones making the sign. Thus the wall echo sign, pathognomonic for a gallbladder completely packed with stones and in a contracted state. And it can be occasionally difficult to find the gallbladder when all you see is the wall echo sign. One potential pitfall in performance of right upper quadrant sonography is that occasionally a loop of bowel may come right up against the wall of the gallbladder and be mistaken for a gallstone. Let's take a look at two video clips that show the difference between these two appearances. In the video clip to the left, we see a loop of bowel that's right up against the posterior wall of the gallbladder. Notice that it has a bright or hyperechoic appearance that could be mistaken for a gallstone. However, the loop of bowel is clearly outside the gallbladder wall and not inside as a gallstone would be. Also, let's look at the shadows that come off the back of the air-filled bowel. What we see is that there are dirty shadows, as I characterize, that are not completely dark as those that would be seen off of a gallstone. Notice that there's areas of white within the dark areas characterizing a dirty shadow. Let's take a look at the video clip to the right, and what we see here is an impacted gallstone at the neck of the gallbladder. Notice that it has a hyperechoic appearance that shadows, and that the gallstone is clearly within the lumen of the gallbladder. And we see the shadow that comes off the back is a clean shadow, completely dark, without those light areas that characterize air shadows. My conclusion points for this Soundbites module going over part 2 of bedside ultrasound of the gallbladder.